Welcome to the channel. This is going to be the journey covering my aquarium control, which is a Raspberry Pi 4 that's been running this tank for the last 5 years. I tend to go on holiday quite a lot, and for the last 2 months I've been away and I've had an issue with the Raspberry Pi, so I'm going to be renewing the controller that currently was running this. Now, with being away for 2 months, it does get neglected. The tank gets maintained daily by water top off and feeding. So here you can see my Raspberry Pi 4, which has been using Node-RED for the last 3 years to do a graphical interface. Now, because the Raspberry Pi has had a fault, it's still working, but the only thing that's actually connected to it at the moment, I'm using an ESP32 to send data to Node-RED and the Pi via MQTT. So this is the only thing that is actively being updated. So these at the moment are not working. So this journey will be me reconfiguring the new Pi. So in Node-RED here you can see some of the different tabs that I was using for controlling all the different things. Now originally the Raspberry Pi 4 had everything connected to it through hard wiring, and this I feel is not the best way of doing it. So this is another reason I am making this series, to show how I'm going to go about it this time, and I feel it's a better way of doing it than the hardwire everything in. I'd rather use ESP32s or maybe even a Raspberry Pi Pico W and have them sending the messages over the Wi-Fi, and the Raspberry Pi being the broker and sending out messages. So I will be able to control pumps still, but the Raspberry Pi will just be basically a broker sending out the messages, so things will work from that. I'm not sure how good this is coming through because I'm using VNC to view the Raspberry Pi on my laptop, because I do the recordings on a laptop. But one of the things I do like is here, because the Raspberry Pi, the ESP32 cam I use, this actually sends to my network a live recording streaming, which I can use to take pictures, stop streaming and get a still. So this allows me from anywhere in the world to actually see what's going on within my tank. Now, for the price of a Raspberry Pi, I know at the moment they are expensive. I got the Pis available at the moment, so I'm going to use it again in this one. But this is one of the things I do like about it. By having VNC, which is a free bit of software with the Raspberry Pi and the OS, you can log into your Pi from anywhere in the world, and I think it's pretty secure, and I've been happy with it and using it for a long time. So this will be shown how I've done this as well. Now, one thing I do need to have set up on the Raspberry Pi is we need to go into Preferences, Raspberry Pi Configuration. Now, I do use the SD card to boot the Pi with the operating system already on it, but certain things we need to do is interface. Now, even though here you can see I've got SSH enabled, I've never actually used it, so on the next one I probably will disable it because I do like VNC. So we need to make sure VNC is enabled. Here you can see I've got I2C enabled. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use that on this version of it, but again, if that's something you want to use, you would have to enable it. But one of the things I will be doing definitely on the new one is using the one wire again. So that has to be enabled, and once you've set that up and click on save, and the next time it boots you'll have one wire available to you to use. Now this is going to be used in my case to have 3 DS18B20 waterproof temperature sensors. Now these are the ones I use because they have 2-meter cables. You will need to look up the wiring because you do have to connect a resistor to them for them to work. This will be shown in a later video. Here you can see Reef Pi. Now this is an open source Raspberry Pi QWERTY controller. Now this is a fantastic bit of kit. I've decided not to use this and build my own because I want to be in full control and understanding how it works, and I want to make sure I've got fail-safe backups for nearly everything I'm doing with it. So even though my original Pi failed, my tank still carried on functioning as it should. Now you can buy commercial controllers, again fantastic bits of kit, not cheap, but the reason I'm not doing that is, again, they have been known to also fail, and again, if it fails, what backup have you got? So I'm sure some people will say, yeah, I'd rather go down some of these commercial routes. That's up to you. I'm just showing you what you could do with a Raspberry Pi 4. Even a Raspberry Pi W would probably do it. And hopefully, if this is something you're interested in seeing, possibly like and subscribe to the channel. And there'll be more videos coming out in the next few days showing me starting the process of it. Anyway, thank you for watching.